it's time for me to be more open and finally talk about myself on the internet. It's not something that I've enjoyed doing in the past, I don't know, 4 years. But the first business I ever started was actually birthed by talking about myself on the internet. So here we are, returning to our roots. And truly, it's just something that I've feared because it feels really vulnerable. But here we are, doing things that feel good that I may have been avoiding. You may ask, why, Maria, have you decided to start talking about yourself on the internet and vlogging on YouTube? The answer to that question is that a few days ago, I made the decision that before I turn 30, I want my whole life to look different. And I just turned 29 in February. I'm born February 29th, so I didn't get a real birthday this year. But I'm determined that by the end of February next year, or March 1st, I want my life to look completely different. I don't know what that looks like yet, but the premise and the decision was based on the fact that I want to feel worthy of showing up for myself. And here, making these videos is one of the ways that I plan on doing that. Why did I make the decision to want to change my life? Currently, my life looks like, honestly, really beautiful. I love the life that I live currently. I have a lot of stability. I have a lot of love. I have security and creativity. But I think at the end of the day, when I sit and ponder and connect to myself, I know that there's more things that I want to experience. There's more to what I want my life to feel like and be like. So, for example, currently, what do I have going on in my life right now? I'm single. I have a part-time job working in a sport that I love. I grew up doing gymnastics all my life, and then I've been coaching for 12 plus years. So I work in the sport still part-time. I have 2 businesses that are actually starting to pick up, and believe that there's a lot of opportunity for evolution in those areas of my life, in both of those businesses in particular. So I want to harness that. I live in my apartment. I love my apartment, though currently I'm not ready for that to change in a year, but but what am I looking for in terms of change? I want more opportunity to travel and experience life, and I do want to invite a romantic partner back into my life. I've spent a lot of time over the past 4 years, really focused on, yeah, that's a whole other thing. I've been learning about myself, to put it briefly, and just experiencing a lot of versions of myself that I've had a hard time reconciling with. And I think I'm finally just at the point now where, my priority is loving myself. My priority is to make decisions and choices and take action so that I can be the best version of myself. And this time is different, or this intention and what I'm stepping into feels different, because I think the biggest thing that I've had a hard time healing is my worthiness around showing up. Feeling worthy of people showing up for me, feeling worthy of creating the life that I wish to live. And so that's the premise of what I'm doing, is I'm showing myself that I'm worthy of providing those things and showing up for myself. This part of my process and this part of my journey is really important to me, because I feel like I easily get stuck and judgmental of myself when I'm not creating a life that feels good. And I never really want to stop doing that. And to ensure that I don't stop doing that, I need to be courageous and need to be brave enough to show up for myself in ways that I haven't before. For instance, being more open online and just documenting my process and my journey. I can make a whole video of all the other things I've been through, but currently this is where I'm starting. So welcome. I think it's day 2 today since I've made that decision. Yesterday was day 1. Today's day 2. And like I said, things I know that I want to see shift are aspects of my business, my health, my partnerships and relationships within my life and my friends, family, romantic, my overall ability to just experience life in a more aligned way that feels good for my soul. That's the goal here. And I'm providing myself the commitment to show up for myself in ways that I haven't before in order to make that happen. Yeah, it's not going to be a linear process. I'm really prepared for all of the emotional healing that comes with it, and I'll bring you along on the ride. I'm very familiar with that part of the process, so that'll be interesting. The decision isn't something new. I've always wanted to prioritize loving myself. I've always wanted to prioritize showing up for myself. I just haven't been able to do it in this way, and I haven't been able to do it in a way that feels this committed. I think in the past, like I said, I've just really been experiencing versions of myself that I've reconciled my relationships with, and those parts of myself didn't feel worthy, and those parts of myself didn't feel loved, and they were like, my heart was really sore, and it was a lot of emotional processing, a lot of grief, blame, shame, like all of these emotions that just are really tough. I'm really grateful that I went through it all. And as we do, right, like we continue through life. This is just the process. This is the journey. I'm not here to tell you that spirituality and healing and all these things are going to take that away, because it truly doesn't. It just transforms your perspective on things. And I think that's what I really want to be able to document, is that we get into spirituality and tarot cards are fun and astrology is fun and human design. All these things are so fun and I truly enjoy them. And the basis of my spiritual practices are the love that I have for myself and the connection that I have to Source. And what that means for me, how that shows up for me, how I do that, my practices, my rituals, whatever that is. So this upcoming year, I have 11 months of just fully committing to that process for myself, because I can. The past 4 years, it hasn't felt like I've had the space and the freedom mentally, like within myself, like self-fulfilling freedom, but also perspective freedom. Like I just had so many ideas and beliefs that were keeping me stuck in cycles that I didn't really know about until recently. And anyway, I have this sense of freedom now. I have this sense of space and security within myself that I know that this is something that I can do and want to do. And fuck around and find out. Like, you just don't know. We know that when we do these things change, but I feel like it's a really cool social experiment for myself, and to just document the process that I go through in order to make that happen. So we'll see. We'll see where I'm at in 11 months. I just really want to show up for myself. So for me, that looks like posting on social media and sharing my creative instincts. Like I have recently created a writing account on different social media platforms. I've also started now posting more of my spiritual opinions or beliefs or experiences online. Part of my business is spiritual mentoring or coaching or guiding. I like the word being a guide. The truth is, I used to do that. That was actually where I started. My business actually started as being a spiritual mentor, coach, guide. And then I got out of it because I didn't have the ability to hold enough space for somebody else, because I was going through so much on my end and it just wasn't in resonance. And now I'm in a place where I feel like I have the capacity to reintroduce that into my business. So working on that. And these are all fresh, like these actions that I'm speaking of, like the new social media accounts and reintroducing mentorship into my business and all these different things. Like these are all fresh, like since the beginning of 2025. So it's going to be really cool to document my ability to show up for myself in these spaces, and then to see how that evolves over time and what happens with them. And I'm not naive to the fact that it's not going to be easy every day. I know myself well enough to know that my emotional cycle is very intuitive, and when emotions come up, like I have learned to understand how deserving I am of that attention and support, like giving myself that emotional support. So I'm not setting expectations for myself other than to just commit to myself, whether that be emotionally, physically, spiritually, all these different ways, right? And that's really that's the commitment that I have, and that's what I want to share with you all. So, what did day one look like? Day one looked like reminding myself. That's what it looked like. This is a practice for me. Like, I'm not a natural at showing up for myself in these ways, right? Like, I love myself dearly, but I've also loved myself in a way that I love myself through the aspect of not being able to show up for myself. So it's almost like I was settling for a version of myself. And I'm just not in a place right now or anymore that I really want to settle for a version of myself that doesn't feel good. I can still love her, but it doesn't feel good anymore. And I really want to evolve and be a different version of myself. So this is a practice of showing up for myself in ways that I haven't before, committing to the things that feel good in my life, changing perspectives on things that don't feel good, and just honestly, like, really just embracing who I am, how I think, how I speak, how I move, how I create, how I feel really deeply, like all these different things that I really enjoy and love about myself. I want to deeply commit to them because they deserve that. And I want to show up for them because they deserve that. And I'm worthy of that. And that was something that I've struggled to believe and struggled to receive. So I'm creating that for myself. I'm very much a believer of delusion. Like, I really believe my soul knows what's best for me and what's true, despite whether or not my physical reality matches. I think the physical reality is just a reflection of my inner beliefs and my inner thought processes, and I use it as a tool. I don't identify myself as it, but I use it as a tool to understand myself better. And so I'm going to take you on that journey with me of how I perceive life and the process that I have in order to practice returning to it. Because I feel like we all have moments where we disconnect from ourselves, disconnect from our belief systems or our power of being able to discern or trust or create our own realities. And we all have these disconnections, and the true devotion is our ability to reconnect to ourselves and reconnect to those parts of ourselves. So I'm ready to show you that it happens to me too. And this is what I do to make it happen. And I'm going to try and be as open as possible with the things that I experience. Hope that you enjoy. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments, and I'll be sure to address them in my next video. You can find a lot of my spiritual ideas and observations on my YouTube channel, mostly on shorts. So be sure to check those out, and please leave a like and a comment and subscribe to follow along. Yeah, this will be interesting. But we'll see what my life looks like in 11 months. Sending so much love. Take care. Till next time.